6:07 p.m. Eastern Time. We're in the final moments of voting all around the country. In some parts of the country, you have less than an hour to vote. In other parts of the country, you have several hours. And so if you are in line, do not move under any circumstances. Stay in line so your vote counts. By all accounts, this is going to be a razor-thin election. I wish it weren't. Maybe it won't be. But by all accounts, by what I'm seeing, that's exactly what we're talking about. Razor-thin election. Now, in Georgia, one of the battleground states, their polls close in less than an hour, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be keeping an eye on Georgia. Their vote should come in fairly quickly. And in Virginia, their polls close at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Not that I have high expectations, given that it's become a blue state, but we'll want to see just how blue it is in this current election. At 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, North Carolina, their polls close. If you're in line, stay in line. I don't care if it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. Stay in line. Stay in line. At 7:30, most of New Hampshire will be in. The municipalities, a lot of them decide what time their polls close, but that'll be worth at least looking at. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania closes, I believe, at 8 p.m. Isn't that correct, Mr. Producer? Yes. It's cut off at the top of my, and so does New Hampshire, actually, 8 p.m. But Pennsylvania, you must stay in line. There's some glitches here and there. You must stay in line. We won't know the final vote for a while, but you must stay in line. My understanding is it is really, really, really tight in Pennsylvania. And let's see here. Just bear with me. What people see is that Trump is probably doing better with blacks in Pennsylvania, but not as good with Latinos as was hoped. It's a very, very, very close race in Pennsylvania and all over the country. And so it's very important that those of you who are voting Trump, Vance, voting for the Senate and the House and the undercard, that you stay in line. It's very, very, very important. Then we have polls closing at 8:30 p.m. in Arizona, Eastern Time. Michigan, polling locations close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and all except for 4 counties. Stay in line. Texas, polls close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for most of the state except for 3 counties in the West. Stay in line. Wisconsin, same thing. Montana, polling closes at 10 p.m. We need that Senate seat. Nevada closes at 10 p.m. These are all Eastern Time. We need those Electoral College votes. We need that Senate race. And beyond that, you can check yourself. So this is very, very important. And so my message here, that's why this program is so important. I'm the cleanup hitter. This program has been so important for over 20 years when it comes to these matters and others. Stay in line. Now, if you're in your car or in your truck and you're still thinking about voting and you're a Trump supporter or you're not for Harris and you're going to vote for Trump reluctantly, then get to the polls. Georgia, you have till 7 p.m. Eastern Time. In other words, you have 50 minutes. That's it. Same with Virginia, Vermont, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Indiana. Some of your polls have already closed. But Virginia, too. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be taking a look at that. But Georgia, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't voted yet and you're for Trump, then get in line. Get in line under every and any circumstance. If you're listening to me in your vehicles, get to your precinct. 7:30 p.m. North Carolina closes. If you can hear me, and you can, in North Carolina, if you're in line, stay in line. If you haven't gotten in line yet, and you're driving home or driving somewhere else, turn around, get to your precinct, and get in line. Same with Ohio, by the way. We need that Senate race. Same with Ohio. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You're in Ohio? Let's get it done. Now, there are other states, too. I just can't go through all 50 all the time. It's just not possible. In Florida, much of your state shuts down at 8 p.m. Some of your state closed at 7 p.m. You got an important Senate race there with Rick Scott. Again, New Hampshire, 8 p.m. Pennsylvania, 8 p.m. Arizona, 9 p.m., all Eastern Time. Michigan, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Texas, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Wisconsin, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Get in line. Get to your precinct. Stay there. It's that close. It's that close. We must outvote them. We must do our jobs for the future of the country, because that's what's at stake. I heard one commentator say, or maybe more than one, our democracy will survive. It always survives. No, democracies don't always survive. There's no guarantee they'll survive in perpetuity. Our founders knew that. The framers of the Constitution knew that. They warned us about it. Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson. We had Ronald Reagan warn us about how you could lose our country in one generation because freedom is not in the bloodstream. It has to be fought for. It has to be preserved. Will there be in America? Yes. But that doesn't mean there'll be a constitutional republic. And I'm sick of this word democracy. We're not a democracy. A constitutional republic. If the Constitution is gutted, which is their plan, then we're not a constitutional republic. We're still America. But I'm tired of people telling us, oh, it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom, your way of life, your children and your grandchildren. We have been warned over and over again. Don't acquiesce to this. Don't listen to people who tell you, oh, well, it'll be okay tomorrow. There'll be democracy tomorrow. There will not be the kind of democracy, or better put, republicanism, that you're used to. That's for sure. That's for certain. Because these people are targeting it. They're targeting it. Here we have Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC yesterday. Listen to this. This is important. Cut 2, go.
And what must always be remembered is the vote is suppressed in about at least more than 40 states. There's a massive voter suppression operation created by the founding fathers who got...
The Electoral College.
Correct. Who got many things grotesquely wrong, from slavery to the Electoral College. Think about how many more Californians would vote if they thought their vote...
You understand,
mattered.
Ladies and gentlemen? This is what I mean. Trashing the founders, trashing the Constitution, trying to unravel it. The Electoral College was not founded to suppress the vote. The Electoral College was founded to expand representative government, participatory government, to areas of the country that were not heavily populated, not to the exclusion of parts of the country that are heavily populated, but to ensure that everybody in the United States, no matter where you live, no matter what your work is, no matter what you do, is represented in that executive branch when you're voting for a president or vice president. Lawrence O'Donnell, the Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, New York, the triangle of the left, they don't want you to participate. They call this suppression. So they want to eliminate the Electoral College, and by God, they will. So much talk about, oh, democracy, it will survive. The independence of the Supreme Court, it will not survive. They made it abundantly clear they're going to add seats to the court and fill it with ideologues. That's called a Politburo. Separation of powers will be destroyed. So it won't survive. An open border with illegal aliens coming in and then chain migration after they get amnesty. No, it won't survive. Packing the Senate, as well as the Supreme Court, but packing the Senate with 2 senators from D.C. and Puerto Rico, where the Republicans can never again win a majority. No, it won't survive. I'm tired of these candy asses going on who've been hanging around forever, telling us everything's going to be just fine. You should be very concerned about this election. You just heard it from Lawrence O'Donnell. You just heard it from Jen Psaki. They're longtime Democrat staffers and operatives. This isn't a debate or a dispute over a little policy here and there. It's about our founding document. It's about our system of government. The Constitution is what protects us. So those of you who haven't voted yet, who are still thinking about it, you better get your asses to your precincts, and I'm not kidding. You owe it to the country. You owe it to your family. And those of you who are in line, thank you. Stay in line. Do not leave. You can eat dinner later. Do not let them dispirit you, wear you down. Stay in line and vote.